Hello everyone, I'm Corey Alexander and welcome to The Rise. Today we have the opportunity to go one-on-one with the legendary Phil Ford, the architect of Dean Smith's four-corner offense here in Carmichael Arena, the epicenter of UNC men's basketball for over 2 decades. This is a conversation you don't want to miss.
This place will always be home to me. I get a special feeling even now when I'm just driving on campus. So coming into this building is a special feeling.
Ford from 23 feet, unreal!
I walk in and the first thing I think about is my teammates. When you think about running after practice.
Ford off the glass, it's good, and he fouled!
And you think about some of the games.
The Tar Heels are going to be Atlantic Coast Conference champions.
So many great memories. Very fortunate, didn't lose a whole lot of games in this building when I played here. Carolina blue will always be in my blood.
To the most valuable player in the tournament, Phil Ford of North Carolina.
I was a daddy's boy growing up. My dad drugged me with him to football games and basketball games, and I was always a little athlete, and I just loved to play. I just loved to play anything, football, basketball, baseball, and when my dad put a goal in the backyard, and sometimes when the kids were ready to leave, I'd bribe them, offer them cookies, to play a little more. It all worked out. They stayed, and we got some more games in, and all of us had cookies.
You had an actual court at your house.
Well, it wasn't a court. Trust me, it was a goal on grass that we played so much that the grass wore out and it became dirt.
You are North Carolina born and bred, born in Kannapolis, moved to Rocky Mount. This is your state. What was it like growing up in the state of North Carolina with so much tradition between UNC, NC State, with Duke?
Well, when I was in the 6th grade, that's when Charlie Scott matriculated at Carolina. So when Charlie Scott matriculated at Carolina, every little boy at Holland Elementary School in Rocky Mount was going to come and be the next Charlie Scott at Carolina. So that's when I first started following really ACC basketball and following Carolina when I was in the 6th and 7th grade because of Charlie Scott.
So when you grow up, you mentioned, of course, Charlie Scott. Who did you pattern your game after?
When I was growing up, Earl the Pearl Monroe was a really good guard. Pistol Pete was a really good guard. The Big O. I didn't really try to emulate what those guys did. I just tried to listen to my coaches. I wouldn't say I was the most talented player to play, on some teams, but I just tried to do exactly what the coach told me to do.
Well, that's interesting to hear you say that you didn't always feel like you were the most talented player.
No.
I'm sure you had to be the most talented player in Rocky Mount, correct?
I'm not sure. There are a lot of more guys a little more athletic. Some shoot better, some go to the hole better. But like I said, I just tried to listen to what Coach Hicks said and do exactly what he said, and that's how I thought I would get playing time. And I did. From in the 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, I was able to start.
You mentioned ACC basketball.
Mm-hmm.
4 of your final schools were ACC schools.
Yeah.
Also, you visited Washington State.
Yeah, because of Coach Rabling. Had a great time, but it was just so far.
Long way from home.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you've got the dean of college basketball coaches right here. The first visit you got from Coach Smith, your mom didn't realize he was a basketball coach.
No, that's true. Yeah, she thought Coach Smith was the dean of a college here at Carolina. She didn't know he was the head basketball coach, and that's why she wanted to sit in on that in-home visit. She hadn't sat in on any of them. But when Coach Smith, Dean Smith came, she was going to sit in on that one and handle the academic part for us.
What's going through your mind when you're sitting across from, who would end up being on the Mount Rushmore of all college basketball coaches?
It was interesting. It was a little different than some of the other coaches. There were no promises made. We didn't even talk about basketball the first 30, 40 minutes of the conversation. My senior year, I was a top 10 high school basketball player in America, and he looks me in the eye and tells me I may have to play junior varsity. He's not sure if I'll play varsity, but he would love to have me as a player at Carolina.
When you have a coach tell you that, and you're a top 10 player in high school, the top point guard in the country, what was it about that made you say, that's the place for me?
Well, number one, this is where I kind of wanted to come to school. And my mom pointed it out, the lady that doesn't know a lot about athletics. When he left, she walks in my room and tells me that we can trust Dean Smith. And I'm thinking, you kind of don't know who he is, so what makes you say that? And she says, well, I've heard you and Bickfield talk, and I know that's where you want to go to school. And if Coach Smith is going to let you go to Carolina and play JV and you aren't quite good enough yet, you probably should thank him. And think about this. Let's say you're a sophomore at North Carolina and you get to play on the varsity a little bit. You're a junior at North Carolina, you get to play a little more. Going into your senior year, you can be assured that Coach Smith won't be out promising other parade All-Americans your starting position at Carolina. And it made sense.
The Tar Heels are going to the Atlantic Coast Conference champions.
When we return, Phil Ford is given the keys to Dean Smith's offense as a true freshman. Next on The Rise.
Ford is everywhere.
You became the first freshman to ever start for Dean Smith.
One player, freshman Phil Ford, is the key to preventing a North Carolina plunge.
Was your freshman year much more than you expected, or did you not live up to the expectations that you had coming in?
I really didn't have it. I don't know if I had, it's a long time ago, if I had expectations coming in.
Phil Ford taking it all the way in.
Starting wasn't a big thing for me as a freshman. When I came as a freshman, I didn't think I was going to start, but that wasn't a big deal to me. I just wanted to come and play basketball here in this building and go to school here with, at these classrooms and walk down Franklin Street. And I knew once I got here and started playing pickup with the guys, this is a different breed of animal here. These guys are kind of good. It's not high school anymore.
The Tar Heels let Phil Ford do what he does best.
When you look at pioneers of ACC basketball, at the point guard spot, it's Phil Ford.
Carolina has many reasons for its success. One major contributor is number 12.
You're talking about a guy who, I never dunked, I probably wouldn't beat a whole lot of people in the 100-yard dash. Now, I will admit, I was quick. From me to you, I was probably world class.
Saved by Hoffman in the Ford. Ford gets by pair. Let it move. Goes in. Layup good by Ford.
I just tried to do exactly what Coach said.
Really hustle the day. That was too good that time. Go. I'll get to work.
And let the chips fall where they may.
Well, those chips fell pretty well for you. You are considered one of the best freshmen to ever have played college basketball. That freshman year had to be like a whirlwind of emotions for you.
Oh, that's a credit to Coach Smith because we lost 2 games in the Big Four tournament. We were struggling a little bit, but Coach Smith just kept coaching us.
We play an 8-minute tough game right here.
And we kept getting better and better, and we were just in a position to win the ACC tournament.
Greensboro Coliseum is the eye of the hurricane as 4 more teams have to fight for their lives in this sudden death, single elimination battle royal.
Greensboro, North Carolina, my opinion, the best place to have an ACC tournament.
Love it. That's why I'm here.
Basketball, crazy area.
When you see the ACC, it's going to be pandemonium.
Are you kidding me?
I'd rather be here today than to be at the NCAA Finals in San Diego.
But what was that like in 1975 with all the hype, with all the fanfare, the craziness, everything that's going on, to be able to go into the Greensboro Coliseum and play that tournament?
Well, Walter Davis tried to enlighten me a little bit what to expect.
Anyone will try anything to get a ticket to the Atlantic Coast Conference Tournament. 3 people showed up at the gate wearing the garb of a priest, and said that they were supposed to come in to sit on the bench.
He didn't enlighten me enough. It was a pretty crazy atmosphere. I remember looking up in the stands one time, and I could swear I saw two people up there fighting. I can't remember the stat, but I think the largest margin of victory was 6 points or 7 points in a game. It's the granddaddy of all the tournaments, and it was really, really intense.
The Tar Heels have won it all!
You were the first freshman to ever win ACC Tournament Most Valuable Player.
And it is young players like Phil Ford who will keep Atlantic Coast Conference basketball the best in America.
And, of course, also winning an ACC championship.
How sweet it is!
So many teams, I think, could have won the tournament that year.
They were led again by the great freshman Phil Ford of Rocky Mount, North Carolina.
Winning the MVP is a great honor, but it doesn't come close to the team won the Atlantic Coast Conference Championship.
As far as MVP, a lot of guys on our team could have been chosen MVP. I think Walter Davis could have been chosen MVP. Brad Hoffman, who hit the big shot to tie it up against Wake Forest, could have been chosen.
Game is tied. 1 second remaining to be played in the ball game.
The fact that we did play four corners as much as we did, it was kind of new then. I think that's why I was chosen.
Phil Ford and company are experts in keeping control.
You mentioned four corners, 2 words that are synonymous with North Carolina basketball. Break down the four corners for me. I didn't get to see it live. I've seen it on tape, but I didn't see it live.
You would have loved it.
The four corners, a North Carolina trademark. A spread offense that is both controversial and successful.
The thing is, in order for four corners to work, you have to have 5 very good ball handlers on the court, because you can imagine if you got a bad ball handler, they're just going to funnel it to him, turn it over.
Houston and Bell are in there. This is the team now that Dean Smith likes to have in there when he's operating the four corners.
5 very good free throw shooters who can hit free throws in some pressure situations, because usually, the game is really tight, clock, not a lot of time.
And Carolina goes to its four corners.
But, we would take a layup.
Ford driving in. Layup is good.
We would take a back door.
Here's Ford, the cutback. Layup, left side is good.
If you made a mistake, we take advantage of it.
And that's a big misconception of the four corners. It was almost as though you hear that it was stalling.
Yeah, because of some games.
The tension is paralyzing.
We would look to score when the opportunity was there, but also, we had the lead. And if you wanted to stay back in a zone and we had a 1-point lead, we'll let the clock run out. And congratulations, thank you.
When this special edition of The Rise continues, Phil Ford goes from player to coach. All right, as a sophomore, you won a gold medal in the 1976 Olympics with Coach Smith. Tell me about that experience. I mean, again, not just now representing the University of North Carolina, but representing your country.
It was a great experience. Not many people thought we would win, because Coach Smith selecting 4 players from North Carolina, 7 from the ACC. But I would have to say, the Olympics are the only time in my life that I heard Coach Smith say, the most important thing is to win. He wasn't preparing that team for life. He was preparing that team to win a gold medal that I think was lost. It's very suspicious.
72?
Yeah.
72 Olympics with Doug Collins.
Yeah. But our job was to win the gold medal back. That was the most important thing, those 7 games.
All-American Phil Ford, the Rocky Mount guard, had delivered in so many clutch situations, and even with a sore wrist.
Senior season, you are the National Player of the Year. That year, you didn't go to the Final Four. It was a disappointment that you finished your eligibility at the University of North Carolina without winning a national championship.
Oh, yeah. I always look back on my career and think I could have done more. I wanted to win every game. I kid Joe Barry and Ty Lawson all the time. I run into them and I tell them that if you give me that national title, you can have my jersey up in the rafters. As a point guard, that's more important to us. That's always a little thorn, but as I said, I look back on it and I'm just blessed to have had the career that I did.
The unstoppable Phil Ford is the most effective Tar Heel weapon.
4 fabulous years here. You go and you're the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. I'm not sure people realize that you were NBA Rookie of the Year, that you were second-team All-NBA as a rookie.
I think playing for Coach Smith really developed us a lot for the NBA, the way we played. You know, a lot of people talk about four corners, but we like to push the ball up the court, too.
Outlet pass comes to Ford, and underneath to Lagarde. Lagarde up off the glass, and it's good. First, lead pass to Davis. He's all alone. Layup is good.
And we like to play man-to-man defense, pressure. And, you know, we learn how to play with four other good players. I think coming here really helped me in the NBA.
In my opinion, you have a great NBA career. When you're finished with that, you decide, I'm coming back home, and now I'm going to pour into these young people. I'm going to coach.
How has Coach Smith influenced your coaching now?
For me to say that I wouldn't want to coach and be just like Coach Smith wouldn't be true.
Was that a conversation that you approached Coach Smith with, or did he come to you with that?
He came to me one afternoon. Coach Williams had just accepted a position at Kansas. And Coach called me in the office, and, you know, my dummy driving over, I'm thinking, I wonder, is Coach going to ask me who he should hire? And we talked about me coming to the staff and, you know, the opportunity to coach with him, and I jumped on that just like that.
And the party is ready to begin on Franklin Street.
You were actually able to win a national championship in 1993 with George Lynch, with Donald Williams, Derek Phelps, Brian Reese. That wasn't a team with superstars.
But they played together as well as any team we've ever had at Carolina.
Nice bounce to Montross for the Monster Jam.
Their parts fit just like a puzzle.
6-point lead. This is Williams.
There was no soloing. You know, a guy comes down and just shoots anytime he wants to. You know, you always played team ball. And I think that's what made Coach Smith the great coach that he is. You know, he could take each individual's talents and come up with plays that would allow that person to show what they could do. You know, those guys with Phelps and Boone and you know, Eric and Brian, those guys just were a perfect team. I don't think that, you know, they would probably win a lot of one-on-one games, but playing 5-on-5, you know, I don't think many teams were better than them.
I have a number of very good friends who played in North Carolina. One in particular you coached from 1993 to 1995 by the name of Rasheed Wallace.
That's my dude.
Coming. Great first step. Nice pass to Wallace.
Tell me a little bit about your relationship at coaching.
He is arguably the best player to play here.
Wallace, straight look, nails it.
Wallace is alone.
You know, I had never seen a guy that big, that athletic, with that much savvy of how to play at such a young age. First time I saw him play, I remember running to the phone and calling Coach Smith and saying, "You aren't gonna believe this."
Wallace, oh my.
Tremendous guy, tremendous talent. We're fortunate as Tar Heels that he chose North Carolina.
More with Phil Ford after these messages. So, of course, the Dean E. Smith Center down the street, huge ordeal. But this is, Carmichael Arena is where you got the job done. When you walk into this building, what goes through your mind when you think about the memories and what this building's meant?
Well, you know, I get a special feeling even now when I'm just driving on campus. So coming into this building is a special feeling.
Ford coming down on the left, pulls up, shoots over Bender.
First thing I think about is my teammates, you know, Kuster and Lagarde and Kupchak and Davis and just so many guys that I played with here. And you know, you think about some of the games and, you know, you think about running after practice. You know, with Coach Smith used to always have this thing called a gut check that, you know, you ran a lot, you know, so many great memories. We're very fortunate, didn't lose a whole lot of games in this building when I played here, so it's a lot of great memories.
Can you remember your first time playing on this floor?
I was terrible. I was so bad. I mean, I was scared to death. I was at the school I wanted to go to. I wanted to do so well. And I remember my first couple of games here, there was an article that this Ford is an Edsel. I mean, I was terrible, Corey, but, you know, Coach stuck with me. And like I said, not only me, but the team, we kept getting better and better as the year went on.
Ford off the glass, it's good, and he's fouled.
You have a lot of admiration for this place, and you have been a part of North Carolina basketball, you know, for going on 50 years.
Thank you, appreciate it.
But when you look at a 4-year career, if you had to take one thing away from all of it, what would that one thing be?
Well, Coach Smith, I mean, just, you know, the loyalty and the humility and the teamwork and, you know, how he carried himself. You know, no one is more important than the other person. It was a lot of stuff off the court. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Coach Smith is the greatest coach to ever coach any sport. But we can never repay Coach. You know, he was with me through good times, bad times. He was as good a person, I think, that I've ever met in my life.
What you call a blessing, the gift that you had to be able to play basketball, when you think about that gift, give me just and I know it's hard to do, a minuscule scale as to how that gift has blessed you so long and for so many years throughout your life.
Well, I think being able to play in the ACC,
The most valuable player, Bill Ford.
you know, the opportunities I've had because of basketball, the travel and the things that I've seen, it's just been a true blessing. And, you know, I can never thank God enough for me having those talents.
Since 1974, Chapel Hill has been home. What is it about Franklin Street? What is it about the restaurants, the people? What is it that makes this place so special?
Carolina was just always more than I thought it was going to be. The friendships that I made, not only on my teammates, you know, everyone in Carolina, we were just like one big family, I'm telling you. But the friendships that I made by coming to college here and the friendships I made of people that still live in the areas just can't be replaced. The people are so friendly, so down to earth, and they like basketball a lot too. So Chapel Hill will always be a special place to me. Carolina blue will always be in my blood.